energy efficient economy. Thank you. I'm the Director of Behavior and Human Dimensions down in DC. My question is, you described disruption as a scale effect. In other words, you said it's on the outside and it's when it's relatively small and you're not noticing it. Am I quoting you correctly?
Yeah.
And I'm wondering why you're defining it as a scale effect as opposed to sort of an outcome issue. In other words, isn't disruptive technologies disruptive no matter what their scale is, but it's the impact that matters?
Well, it's the reason why I talked about it sort of being outside your radar as being sort of an important point was simply because you know, when you're paying attention to something, the chances that there'll be a sudden dramatic change is a lot lower, because you know you know that this technology exists. You know that you know it's changing the way business is done. In some sense, perhaps it's aligned with what your customers are asking for, and so all of the sort of the mainstream businesses will be focused on that and will be using it, and perhaps it'll change the way they operate. But it's not going to disrupt the industry, as in it's not going to suddenly cause a shift where people who weren't industry leaders are now industry leaders. And the reason why things that emerge on the fringes are more disruptive is simply that. And we've historically seen, and like, you know, this has been documented, I think, most famously sort of in the disk drive industry, but also in the, for example, you know, the emergence of PayPal. PayPal offered a, you know, a peer-to-peer payment solution. The market for this seemed like it should have been noticed and, you know, taken over by Visa or MasterCard or American Express. But, you know, they were busy sort of paying attention to what their mainstream customer needs were, and so they didn't notice that there was this sort of fringe set of people trading on eBay who needed this peer-to-peer payment solution, and then suddenly, boom, like, you know, PayPal was big before they knew it. You've seen the same thing in the disk drive industry. I bring it up because, like, you know, the person who's written most famously about disruptive technology sort of documented it in the disk drive industry. But that's why sort of, like, you know, trying to sort of pay attention to things that your customers aren't necessarily talking about, but inventing new ways of doing business for fringe customers seems important, because chances are that, like, you know, if it's inventing a new way of doing business and you haven't noticed it, you will notice it in the future, and that's really what's going to cause the disruption, not just a gradual change like a sustaining technology might.